to the Oracle Counselorship brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess Ablosi. I'll be your Oracle today. And I'm actually finishing up a story about some collective uckery, but I'm going to put that down. The Oracle Counselorship is just like an ad hoc whenever something comes out. There is a monthly report that should be coming out quite soon, usually around the 22nd and the 7th of every month, just after the full moon and the new moon. I need to do this and get this out of the way. There's nobody else right now to be an oracle on the channel, so this is going to be a little bit personal, not fully. Okay, if you would like more insight into me and myself, there's a channel called the Center for Sacred Living. It's Ablosi Center for Sacred Living. So check that out. I won't be paying attention to the comments, the live comments at least, and I really can't do too much engagement with the comments in general. So I suppose we're going through housekeeping right now. Hi, hello, and welcome. What prompted this was exploitation, deception, illusions. So willful deception is a lie. A statement with the intent to deceive is a lie. Now, sometimes we are told an untruth. Sometimes we choose to believe. And this is a world of fiction, Maya, as it's called, illusion. We're in the Kali Yuga. So a lot of, I just want to check the sound. A lot of us are sold lies every day. Every day, every single day, every single day. However, buying a lie is a different story than being sold a lie. Okay? That's just that on that. It's difficult to help somebody if you've not taken the time to help yourself. So there's also this understanding and energy that some of the chaos, toxicity, is because we are still stuck with, I'm hearing the word abuser, I was going to say user. Because exploitation is just blatant misuse, usury. It's a non-mutual, beneficial, nourishing needs exchange. Remember to hit that thumbs up button. Hi, hello, and welcome. Comment, like, subscribe. Tell your mama, tell your friends. And I understand some parents or ancestors but what I said is what I said. So I just pulled out this deck, the Wildwood Tarot. I haven't seen it in a minute, and I'm so happy. Challenge 2 of stones. So that's the traditional. I'm hearing a rave song. The Tetris. Okay, so a lot of people are doing fancy fancy footwork, which means whatever serves their agenda. And I would like to be as positive here as possible. So we're in a situation, it's just the time, it's just the age, you know. If you understand the history of man and the seed races and the seeding of humanity and the vesting of the earth, what happens is it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. It's like the seasons, they go round and round. The painted pony goes up and down, for real. We're on the carousel of time, the carousel of life. So this is not a time where most people walk with spirit, where most people are divinely guided. This is the time when the average person that you meet is a lot more demonic than maybe 600,000 years ago. Okay? And there's things that we've been told that we can't believe because of the science books, religious books, history books. There's things that I'm going to tell you that it might be difficult to believe because the science books, the history books, the religious books, the textbooks. I want to say right now, if you've been trying to email me, I had a malicious something happen to me, so I've been cut off from my email for about 10 days. Um, it just seems like I have this vulnerability. Let's move on. In addition, I don't want you thinking that I don't care about you if you're trying to reach me. It's going to take me a day or two to come for you. Mama needs to leave the house and run some errands, which I don't like to do, and unfortunately, most of my help has left. The assistant, the attendant, they're not with me at present, and I'm just doing everything on my own. So we're all going to rebuild together. And what's important is that we know how to worship each other. We know how to love each other. We know how to sail in the same ship. You know, a spiritual sister is somebody who shares your secret. You both take refuge and sanctuary in the goddess. And it is sanctuary and refuge when you're with each other because it's a shelter from the storm. The storm is the constant, consistent cleansing that Lord Shiva has to do. So the inner soul of spirit is Lord Shiva. Okay. The inner self of great spirit is Lord Shiva. And oftentimes things erupt, oftentimes things are dismantled, they collapse. Oftentimes there's a cleansing, and we know this archetype closer to Storm from X-Men. So follow that. We're amongst these people that get themselves in our camp to turn the tides. So traditionally, this Two of Pentacles, because here in the Wildwood Tarot, it's called challenge, and it's, you know, two characters. But traditionally, that means, you know, balancing yourself on the seas of time, figuring out, working it out. And it can be a little bit of confusion. It can be a little bit of unrest. But in its positive element, it just means not being able to go in any one way, having to do fancy footwork, having to mix good, bad, light, dark, or even just work with two, not opposing, but separate. Okay? Because light and dark, the closer you bring them to each other, they actually collapse into one another. However, when you're polarized, versus not duality versus polarity, when you're polarized, meaning divided from yourself or repelled from something that is yourself, that's really the challenge, and that's what exploitation does. We have this world, doesn't matter the country that you're in, the filters of reality by the controller are media, religion, education, politics, and I have it. It's somewhere in the mystery school. I cannot right now. The channel is saying that it's a lot of ping pong because when you're ping ponged around, when you're puppet stringed around, you're not focusing on what's in front of you, which is uckery, horse pucky, and that's what I want to explore again. You know, I use this Wildwood deck to know what the other con artist is doing, like what they're doing, what the con artist is doing. That's all I can say. Um, this is a great deck for revealing when you're under something. You have an understanding, not an understanding, not an overstanding. And usually the understanding will bring you to the table saying, Great Spirit, what is this? Why do I not feel in alignment with my spirit, karma, life path, destiny? Why have I dropped out of my identity, my intellect down into my intuition, down into my instinct? Why do I feel reactive? You know, that's what I bring out the Wildwood deck for. And literally, first card out was challenge. So there's a juggling, but really that's another card for being handled, being juggled, being managed. And this is on the grounds of the journey, which is one of transformation. Sometimes you have to go through to get through. Sometimes you have to go through to grow through. And what that looks like, oh wait, I did not read that story. Okay, child. Excuse me. Pardonnez-moi. Okay, un momento, por favor. A big deck to handle, a big, thick deck. It's a little bit girthy for me. So, you know, the messages here are very encoded, and if you can hear them, you can hear them. I'm sure some of them are amusing, some of them are funny, some of them are shocking, some of them are scary, some of them are, we miss some of them. So, the continuation of the story is that a lot of times we're yearning for something, and really what we should be seeking for is spirit. So if we're not spirit-filled, spirit-led, we're going to be led astray, because something bigger, brighter, and better is always going to come, but it's not really bigger, brighter, and better. It just appears that way because that's the mechanisms of the dark. You know, outside of ourselves, there's challenge, conflict, because in the dark or in illusion, there are beasts that can thrive on anything, and usually it's the negative. Like a demon is fueled by pain and despair. A human is fueled by ego and greed. A divine being is fueled by pain, pleasure, and truth. So they want to get the natural power, and really what we need to do is get the natural power, but we're usually dedicated to whatever darkness we're in, because normally we respond to pain, and if there's no spirit, if there's no light in that darkness, or if we don't know how to find the light within ourselves, therefore being a bright light in a dark place, we're bound. We're going to get bound quite easily. Mired is what I'm hearing, dragged down. Whew, child, fat mama. Give me a minute. I'm cleansing right now. I'm going on a fast. I'm going to go on a prayer battle. I said prayer battle. I'm not finding anybody but my lower nature. Coconut water, I try to hide the label because YouTube has a little funny problem with coming for you. Okay. So yeah, it's just easier for us to be distracted when we're in conflict. Like if we're in conflict, we don't have our eye on the prize, and the eye on the prize is always returning to Great Spirit, unifying with the universal oneness and the unconditional love vibration. And when we're distracted, we're normally seeking love in one person and one person, place, or thing. Therefore, we're disconnecting or breaking or walking away or turning our back. Maybe not entirely, but at least turning around and walking away from, or beginning that process from spirit. See, the dark works from the outside in. So that Nine of Swords traditionally here is called dedication, but what are we dedicated to? Are we dedicated to finding our light in the darkness, or are we dedicated to believing all the problems, believing all the conflicts, the challenges, the crossings that we perceive? Because, you know, there's a little bit of truth in everything, but in this world right now, we're all being lied to. And I know what the title says, it's not clickbait. I'm just trying to round the bases here and be as positive as possible so that I can, when I do talk about the nitty gritty gross stuff, it's not this channeled message of death and destruction and darkness and despair. And so that I'm not full of expletives. If I have a little bit of good nature from the beginning, I can, I hate to say this, but control myself, because if I see a demon out the gate, I'm going to get out the knife. And I don't go fighting demons, because if you stare into the darkness, eventually you'll become the darkness. And if you go hunting around in the abyss, eventually you get lost in the abyss. And what people don't realize is the only thing that swallows up the abyss is oblivion. One more time. The only thing that swallows up the abyss is oblivion. So the challenge should be with ourselves. We should be in competition with ourselves. We should be in a universal exchange with ourselves. We have a human form, but a spirit is driving it. And the actual name for God, not creator, God, actually means the spirit that takes up a form. So we're taught here in the mystery school that the spirit is the third eye. God is the third eye. Heaven is the crown. Heaven is the head, and the third eye is God. Okay. The devil is the solar plexus, the third chakra, and hell is the bowels. And it's interesting, even Scorpio, because we have it here with this death card, it's called the journey. I'm telling you, man, how do you find your light? How do you find your light? How do you find your light? It's going through your own darkness. People don't understand this. I tell them often, like, I'll talk to the muggles, whoever they obviously uninteresting because they're forgettable. But I'll say things like all the time, oh, I lost my mind for a few days. Oh, and they're like, oh, I gotta be scared for you. Excuse me. Or whatever, if you have a firm sense of self, nothing. So if you need to go into the darkness for a day or two to figure something out, as long as you're not walking around the world hurting people, if you need to lose your mind for a few days to figure something out, as long as you're not a danger to yourself, and that's the true thing about Scorpio. Scorpio is the sphincter. It's where we detox, it's where we eliminate. And of course, secrets breed polarization because that's when we try to separate. We try to cut things off. And it's true, you do need to keep some things to yourself, but privacy, secrecy, and discretion are different concepts and ideas. Another thing is the such, you know, um, intimacy, into me you see, depth, vulnerability, closeness, warmth. Ultimately, it's trust. So the things you hide from yourself, you're not going to see them play out in others, and you're always going to be bound to those things. That's the secret of the eighth house. Number one, you go searching around in the dark. I'm very eighth house. Okay. So the thing about the eighth house is that's where projection happens. When the enemy comes, let's just take a narcissist for a second. I hate this word right now. I strongly dislike this word right now because I'm going through my own healing. And so I like privacy I'm really into spiritual space and sanctuary. Okay. So the eighth house is project, and that's where all the demons we first meet them. And yeah, we meet demons, but we can't see clearly the spirit that fills the form until after we go past the eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th house. Okay. We see divine beings in the 11th house. We see lower vibrational beings in the eighth house, and we see those energies, entities in human form in the houses below that. So eighth house is projection. Sometimes when you fight a person, you're actually making them stronger and you don't know it. The best thing to do is withdraw your energy and walk away. And sometimes when you fight a being, you do drag them down, but that's not what happens in the eighth house. The reason that Scorpios are super scary is because they're nearly indestructible. You have to allow them to consume themselves. That's the only way to take them down. Otherwise, you need to bring what's called sheer force, God level power, and that only happens in the collective. So the thing about the eighth house is typically you don't see it as it is, you see it as you is. So the thing you're really fighting is your own self. You're not seeing the person, place, or thing, you're seeing your reflection staring back at you and that person, place, or thing. Eighth house is the house of projection. So again, this challenge. Normally in the Two of Pentacles, it's just one man with the Two of Pentacles. He does have that ocean behind him with the seas of time up and down. Is this person really having a challenge with another being or with themselves? So if you haven't done your fear medicine, if you haven't done your ego medicine, if you're harboring darkness inside you, corruption inside you, evil inside you, you're never going to win an eighth house fight. Ever. And tragedies do happen. Sometimes good people get sacrificed. But what happens when you don't go to hell when you die in the eighth house. You go to hell when you die in the seventh house. So what happens when you die in the eighth house? You can be stuck in the astral. That's what we call an earthbound spirit. But actually, what happens is all of your life flashes before you, really in 40 seconds. It's a Shiva thing. I know this. Shiva's my love. But after that 40 seconds, you see the light because there's a moment of redemption. And if you don't redeem yourself in those 40 seconds of all your crap, all of your shiznit passing in front of your eyes, you fall to the seventh house. And without a body, that's not good. So when you can shake off your own lower nature, when you can shake off your own dark nature, when you can shake off your own shadow nature, it doesn't weigh you down, so you rise. So people attacking, spiritual attacks, all that stuff, it's not going to do anything. A divine being, a magical being, a divine child, a chosen child cannot be taken down by those things because they're following their path to Creator, to Great Spirit, to divinity. It's those who are cast out who look outside of themselves at people, places, and things that they think they can exploit, take from. It's like if you're looking at a person, place, or thing and you're jealous and you think, oh, they got it good. It doesn't come from them, homie. It comes through them. A blessing, a gift, is a contract with creation. It's a contract with God. It's coming from the divine. So the only way then you can steal that is to convince them to give it to you. So again, is this person fighting themselves? The answer is yes. So that's the thing about also Mars energy. Mars energy is usually the lower benefic, but see, in a person's chart, or when a person has Ogun, it often tells you about what they did in the previous life. So unless they have something very exalted with that Mars energy, it tells you the behavior that got their Saturn to be where it is. Saturn is the karma you have to play out in this lifetime. Ogun or Sakpata Ogun. Mars is your behavior, what you did in a previous life to get your Saturn energy the way that it is. And so we have something Mars ruled, Scorpio, and we have Mars in Gemini. So watch your thinking, because right behind you is the spark of life, is the light. So when you're walking around in the darkness, when you're living in the dark, thriving in the dark, you're going to be attracted to other people's light, but you're going to be so busy looking outside of yourself that you don't look inside yourself. You don't look behind you. Behind is to go left. So when you go left, you turn within. When you go right, you turn outside. So if you don't go within and find your own light, you're always going to be exploiting others or be exploited even because you're going to follow false light. What is the difference between enlightenment and illumination? Well, enlightenment is when, first of all, you find the light, the divine light, or you find the light within yourself. Even further so, you become the light. You are the bright light in a dark place. Illumination is when you're following somebody else's light, which can be okay, but you need to have trust, vulnerability, intimacy, closeness, warmth, openness, vulnerability. There's a lot of false gurus out there. There's a lot of shady practitioners, people who elicit love and light. And when you question their logic, the demon comes out. And in darkness, in secret, in the dead of night, they have evil machinations. Evil just means living backwards, which means you're going closer to the dark than you are to the light. Let's continue, because this is going to be here for a minute. Let me try this, what I was doing before. I'm having a lot of attacks right now, you all. This will actually go online. The quality might not be so good, which agitates me greatly. But the devil could just do what he does, because the thing about this is, in order to have a fight, the other person needs to participate. So a lot of devils, a lot of demons, a lot of evil, a lot of darkness, a lot of shadow, a lot of ignorance, a lot of illusion, a lot of deception needs the person to engage, needs the person to play the game. And the thing about it is, if you are going with God, if you walking with God, you sometimes are just unbothered. That's the thing. Yeah. So a lot of us need to get something going on for ourselves, because that hole in our heart is a God-sized hole that only God can fill. Spirit, Creator, Pachamama, Giweke. Because if you're taking refuge and sanctuary in the spirit, you should be filled up. Your cup should be overflowing. And sometimes you have cups and you're ignoring them because you've been convinced to go or look at a better cup. But see, not every cup comes from a divine source. Sometimes you have a crystal chalice or a golden chalice and you're trying to take from the swamp. Again, the eighth house is the swamp. So you can have bountiful, because it's not just those two up there, but look at these huge ones down here. To me, this is the individual, and down here is the divine or collective. And so, of course, you need to endure then, because you're not happy or grateful with what you have. Your own self, your own inner nature, your own pure divinity, your own childlike nature, your innocence, your gullibility. Really, you're truly, genuinely, sincerely, authentically, it's your divinity. So if you're not grateful for what you have, then you don't stand for something. If you don't stand for something, then you'll fall for anything. And the easiest way to weaken your vibration so that an attack can be made is to get you fighting in conflict. It doesn't need to be external conflict. It doesn't need to be a bold-faced fight. It can have you fighting inside your mind, doubting yourself, fighting inside your heart, not loving yourself. We're going to get to the evil players if they come out. So that's just the thing here. Strength, courage, and wisdom requires a self-worth and value. You don't know what to be strong and have courage to protect if you don't actually value anything alive in yourself. That creates a problem. Okay, great, because I did not want to keep reading that story. Great Spirit, give me passage. Give me passage. So healing and returning to the promised land and divinity comes when you have an inner stillness. When you have an inner stillness and nothing can take away from your bounty because you're connected to source. So even if you only have one cup, you know that there'll always be another cup if you just keep walking. And that's also the star card, which is the evolution of strength, courage, and wisdom, the strength card. The strength card is the evolution of self-worth and value, the Empress card. So Empress is strength, the Empress is self-worth and value, knowing your worth, understanding your standards and boundaries. The strength card is strength, courage, and wisdom. That's holding your standards and boundaries, knowing that you are worthy of respect, of love, of light, of the divine, and being willing to walk, being willing to leave If love's not being served, then that makes it easier to have that star card, hope, faith, and optimism. How are you going to have hope, faith, and optimism? Faith in creation. If you're not strong enough to say no to the devil, or at least sneak away when the devil turns his back, how are you going to know that it's worthwhile to sneak away when the devil turns his back if you don't have no self-worth and value? If you don't know what's worthy, what makes you feel truly good and what's truly divine, when somebody gives you scraps, you're going to be excited, overflowed with joy, overwhelmed even, because you're starving. So that hole in your heart is a God-sized hole, okay? Because evil means to invert, to live backwards. Evil is live spelled backwards. Evil is also love spelled backwards. Vowels are interchangeable, okay? Yes. So now let's read this story down. Okay. So that challenge is about finding the light in the darkness, truly. And what that looks like is a dark journey of the soul, truly, period, point blank. If you haven't had a dark journey of the soul, or you're not spirit-filled, spirit-led, you're going to be succumbing to demons. Because if your mentality is wrong, if you got stinking thinking, poverty mentality, you don't even know to look up and pray, look up towards the heaven and call out, say a prayer. Papa, can you hear me? You're done. So you need to learn to take actions from the heart, be heart-centered, heartfelt, because that's what makes you a love-ascended being. Sometimes we see a devil pretty clearly, and we get nasty because we're trying to fight that devil, trying to other that devil, trying to make him bad, make him wrong, vilify him, whatever. Okay, I'm not doing reverses in this deck, and y'all know that. Yeah, that's exactly it. The road, it could be the road to hell, the road to heaven. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, wanting, hoping, wishing, yearning, conjuring up some wounding and hurting from the past. The road to heaven is paved with humility, dignity, serenity, and grace, connection to spirit, love and compassion, universal oneness, unconditional love. You can love unconditionally and not be unconditionally tolerant. So when you are down and out, when the reality gets stripped, sometimes people leave your path, sometimes things happen, losses, and it's really protection. Because if there's a bunch of losses, you're about to be upgraded, blessed up. And that death actually ends up being a world. So that's closing a chapter. And that fighting, whether it's self-conflict, external conflict, is really the impetus for life. And life shouldn't be reflected back by another person. You can do that in nature, creation, yeah, that's fine. But when a human, somebody who is both of the light and the dark, the only thing we should feel when we look out at another human is passion or compassion. Compassion is love in action. It's when you take a noun, love, and you transmute it, death card. Transform, death, transmute, temperance. Number 13, death. Number 14, temperance. We don't have temperance here. But when you transform that noun into a verb, that's compassion. Yeah, see, are you ego-driven or are you heart-centered? That's really the message here. Let's get away from this. So we got our sermon. I may separate the videos. I don't like to use this deck too much because it just really I see the machinations of the too easy. And look at that. Uh-oh. What was I doing with this deck the last time? Ooh, child. Ooh, child. Ooh. Ooh, child. Ooh, child. Ooh. Okay, let's just clear this. Oh, I see. I call this my colonizer deck the right away. I'm sure that offended somebody, and I'm sure I do not actually care. Okay, so let's shuffle. So this deck, I have all the aces turned up because choices. So if an ace comes out when I rifle the deck, we're going to have to use a running spread. But you see, I don't want to do a running spread. I would like to do a channeled message. I'm hearing that song, you gave me a promise, you knew you couldn't keep. Promises. So why do I believe all of your promises? You knew you couldn't keep. Who sings that? Naked Eyes, Private Eyes, Naked Eyes. They do sing that song also. Private eyes, they're watching you. They see your every move. Okay, so why did Spirit want me coming up over here? The Imperatrice and the Imperatore. Okay, so what I'm detecting right now is this war. They don't want the divine, feminine, and masculine to merge. But the thing about it is also that this is the blinding flash of the obvious. So that could also be getting struck. It really comes from God. So all the secrets come out, number one, on a mundane level, but on a divine level, that's getting struck with Cupid's arrow. And we had three major arcana come out, and all I did was ask with the Ace of Cups. I shuffled that. I shuffled all the aces into the deck, and the ace rose to the surface. I'll teach scrying through a tarot deck in the Mistress School. So let's get to work, beauties. Okay. All right. We're not going to do a full scry. It seems like Spirit wants me to keep the gifts private for a little while because the devil's really doing some work. Mama don't care. Come kill me or get gone because I'm really not going to be afraid for my life or hide in the dark with the devil. I just can't do it. How am I going to have self-respect? That's what I think. All right. And the aces are not going to be in any particular order. Normally I do that, but we'll worry about that in the Mistress School. Private eyes are watching you. They see your every move. Oh, on the back, on the back. Okay, there we go. So Cups typically talks about divinity and being chosen, XYZ, LMNOP, ABC, TUV. Let's see what we can do with the camera angle. Do not get motion sickness or whatever that is. Let me check the comments just right quickly. Yeah, holla notes. Okay, great. I'm just gonna turn these off because they're a distraction. Wonderful, wunderbar. Okay, Let's start with his ace of, okay, so I'm just going to say this and keep it moving. When you have the cups, it's God, because Lord Vishnu, he's the dynamic part of the goddess's servant. Now, the pentacles normally would talk about the goddess, but remember, water is not upon the earth. Earth is actually upon the water. This is a water planet, period. Now, I'll use the air for Saraswati. I'll use the pentacles for Lakshmi. I'll use the okay, we have to use Yamani right now. I'm being told this is Yamani. So that's, it's not really the devil, and I won't be talking about the devil too strongly, especially on a spiritual level, how I know them. And the devil is a servant. He's really a warden of hell, a gatekeeper of the realms. So he is a being of justice, but only through judgment. So if you have received an injustice, the devil's not going to come help you. It's when you are about to either be stuck in the pit, Tartarus, or Yama, Naraka, whatever we use. Anyways, that's enough education for that. So unfortunately, this is going to have to be the devil here. So this is going to be Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu. Saraswati here, Lakshmi here. So Parvati will be over here, and we do. I use the Empress for Lakshmi more, but Parvati came out in the earth. Giweke, Weke. I'll leave that there. I see a Capricorn rising for some reason. Now it could be a Taurus or pineapple and cucumber with some probiotics. Normally I add coconut water in, but I'm just drinking it separate. Okay. So this is the Holy Grail. When your cup runneth over, benefits, blessings, gifts, spiritual gifts. There's a war on this. So we don't have the Chariot card out in these 12 cards. It's really 16. I love the number 16 because I love the Tower. I believe I am the Tower. The Tower for me is Chiron or Lord Hayagriva. And that's the kind of the priesthood that I belong to, Hayagriva. Anyways, telling my business, but y'all aren't going to hear no nothing. I might talk a lot, but I'm really not saying anything. I'm speaking to those who are awakening. If you have some insight into spirituality, don't think I told you nothing. I'll say that and move on. But yeah, I'm Hayagriva Ji. My Baba name is Hayagriva. Okay, so there's a war on the divine masculine and feminine. When you see the Tower, it's sustaining a blow. Now, it's a blow that lowers your foundation unless the Chariot is somewhere near. Now, the Chariot is not out, which means we don't have the spiritual experience of arrivals, departures, moving ons, victories, losses, triumph, essentially. Because if you see the Chariot, you still received a blow if there's open warfare. However, like if the Chariot's there with a bunch of sevens, you received a blow, but you sustained it and you're good. If you see the Tower, because the Tower is the Omega 7, 1 plus 6 equals 7, the Chariot is the Alpha 7, 7. So, but the Chariot is the master card of all the chariots. I mean, mi scusi, Il Carro, the Caballero, the Knights. The Knights all go with the Chariot. The Knights also rule between number 4 and number 9. That's their arrival departure. That's their battleground. So I'm giving you a lot, but you ain't hearing no nothing because you need the matrix, the rubric. You need the foundation laid. So we have this battle here showing up with Lakshmi, Parvati. Now, Parvati is the massive, the macro form, and Lakshmi comes to talk about her earthly form, comes to talk about her abundant form when she gives wealth. So there's 8 different forms of wealth. Look up Ashtalakshmi, A, S, H, T, 8. Lakshmi. So you have like the ability to have children, that's one form of wealth. You have the ability to be famous or loved or cherished, it's another form of wealth. You have the ability to have land, that's another form of wealth. Jewels and diamonds and gold, that's another form of wealth, because once upon a time there wasn't no money. Money was cows, livestock. Okay. So this we go through, and so here's the external world, here's the inner world. So we're fighting in the external world because the devil's never far away. The fives talk a lot about the devil for me. So we're fighting off something, and we don't master this fight until we have discernment. The queen versus the king of swords. King is judgment, queen is discernment. The king and queen, grand internal commitment, queen, grand external commitment, king, versus a one-time massive energy, the knight. Going on the journey, that's the page. The knight could also talk about expansion, so moving, pushing something forward slowly. But also, this talks about mundane nature, so stuck on stupid, but not really stuck on stupid. But again, yeah, stuck on stupid because we have this 5 out as well. All right. So now let's talk about it. What I'm detecting is that there's a war on the divine beings, and really, ultimately, they don't want us to have those blinding flashes of the obvious, because the blinding flash of the obvious is way out here, and what we're going to do with it is be stuck on stupid. We'll be maladaptive, idiosyncratic, perfunctory, contemporaneous, extemporaneous, fighting things we don't even understand, fighting for reasons we don't even know. Distracted, essentially, is what that is. Can you see this? Yes, you can. So essentially what that is fighting. All right. What? The devil. But see, the thing is, if somebody's trying to take you down, it means they're already beneath you. So what you got to fight, because if you start the fight, essentially what happens is you get stuck on stupid with them, because then you get off your high horse, you lower your guard, you come off your high ground, and that's all they need. They need you to lower your vibration just a bit so they can get to you. You see, if you know the tree of life or the theory of everything, not the same thing. Theory of everything and tree of life are different concepts and ideas, but if you know both of those, you'll hear this coding. Otherwise, you're going to be lost. You know, the 1 goes with the 10, you know, the 2 goes with the 9, you know, the 3 goes with the 8, you know, the 4 goes with the 7. So, yes, the emperor, the emperor rules all the 4s, but he governs all the 7s. And the emperor is the zodiac of Aries, but alchemically, astrologically, it means the sun in the 10th house, dealing with authority or being said authority. Now, see, so we have this 7 out here. So the emperor, his power, excuse me. So the emperor is having to embody his power, and he's sitting over here on the royal throne, the divine throne. The cup is over here in heaven. It just came out that way. It wasn't my intention. So initially, you start out divine, period. And then some mechanism of the devil, number 5, brings you down. Typically, it's a hidden, deceptive witch. For some reason, I know it, because the sword here has this 4. So this is a witch looking for somebody to exploit. And she's going to do it from the narcissistic standpoint. So an open warfare is a witch. Closed warfare typically looks as narcissism, wizardry. Okay. Let's just follow this channel, see where it's going. I'm so sorry to trigger anybody. Mama needs a minute. Pardon me. Sounds like urination. I don't like that noise. Okay. Let's go sip some of this. Okay, thank you. So what is this? Here. That's what they're saying. Here. The offer. Usually it's dick. Let's just follow this channel. So if you're about to get the glow up, if you're about to get the bless up, if you're about to accomplish something, if you're about to break the spell, break the hex that the colonizer has put on you, the controller has put on you, they're going to have to send a distraction first. You always get tested right before you get upgraded. Okay. So what happens? What does that look like? Well, okay. They're going to offer you something to bring you down. And then you get stuck on stupid, stuck out in the cold. And if you're not wise enough, if you don't have God, or if you've lost God, you're out there in the cold, in the dark. And then, first of all, your vibration's gotten lowered. So now it's easier to attack because the devil can go up to level 10, but that's the difference between a demon, a devil, and Satan. Okay, there's one Satan, there's a few devils, there's many demons. Okay, so a demon just means a lower level, a low vibrational intelligence, a lower vibrational consciousness. That's that stuck on stupid. Poverty mentality itself is a form of demonology. All right, so you can be still divine and have consciousness, discernment, but what I'm detecting is that this is a mechanism of the devil. Here, Jezebel, I'm hearing, but Jezebel comes in the fire form. So this would be somebody controlling people. We do have an agent. Because that black horse, no thank you. And I did hear, get off your high horse. So Mama just gonna read this down because I can see this very plain and clearly. I'm worried about everybody not understanding, but listen, I understand. That's all that matters. So this is an agent, somebody who's this is a controller, somebody who's sending agents to distract you, to diminish you, to dilute you, to distort you, to degrade you, to destroy you, as I said. And they're going to say, come hither, come hither. But see, you have to pass that knife to play with them. So unless you divide yourself, polarize yourself, politics, Interpol, police, is designed to polarize you, to separate your divinity from your shadow nature, which if you're born in a body, your shadow nature is just the flesh. The spirit lives in the flesh. So there is a way out, but the way out is divine discernment. So you can't be looking outside of yourself for answers. That's the thing. She's looking to the external world. The right is the future and the external world. The left, if you're looking to the left, it's the inside and the internal world. The internal world is where God lives. The devil lives outside. Okay. Now, another lesson here. The five senses: touch, smell, taste. I can never rattle off all five. I always only say four and miss one. But touch, taste, smell, sight, and hearing. Okay. Those also match the clair abilities: claircognizance, clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairvoyance, voyance, sentience, whatever. Okay. So clair, clear, serene. In my house, we conduct ourselves with humility, dignity, serenity, and grace. Why? Because that's the sacred container for those clear, those serene abilities to come through. Those physical senses, that's where the devil lives, in the flesh. So what the sixth sense is the mind, intellect. That's why you see those six-armed goddesses. When you see the six-armed goddesses, they're talking about the mind, Svag Loka, the sixth realm, the sixth world. Svag Loka gives you the entry into and out of heaven. The enlightened beings are sixth dimension. Divine beings are fifth dimension. It's the lower vibrational beings that are fourth dimension. Okay. So you have third dimension here. Really, this is sixth dimension, but it also can be hell. So until a person surrenders, until a person purifies, the wands typically talk about, see, magic can go either way. Magic can be light or dark. So there's a need to purify, and if you're not purified in the fire, you're either destroyed or you fall. So this is somebody who is outside of themselves with their poverty mentality. And until this queen goes inside the next level, it's demonology, period. This is what I'm sensing. Because, okay, say you do, what the devil needs you to do is this. He needs you to get mired in one of those five senses. Give it away, give it to the devil. And then the devil, once the devil gets inside, he can start pushing God out. But the devil needs to push God out of the mind. Because in the mind lives the third eye, and the third eye is where God lives. Where's the third eye? In the mind? Well, the mind would be heaven, the third eye would be God. So if the devil gets a hold of one of your five senses, then he gets in, because the devil works from the outside in, God works from the inside out. So if you're prayed up, blessed up, you're not looking outside of yourself for nothing. That hole in your heart is not you're not trying to fill it with something outside of yourself to feed what's alive inside of you. You're actually going to the source, illumination versus enlightenment. Okay. So then what happens is this queen is just discernment. It's not that come hither, fall into temptation. Okay. So then we move on, because then the spell got broken. This is breaking a spell. A difficult, rough ending. But this is also the sun in Gemini. Well, Gemini constellation is where you enter heaven through the Orion belt. Orion, Apollo, the sun, that's the gate into the fifth, sixth dimension and above. The creator beings start at the sun. So the sun can take you from the fourth dimension to the seventh dimension, and then the seventh dimension is where all those creator beings live. Again, some of this is gonna go over your head if you're not in the mystery school. But remember, sometimes you are a divine being and you're being attacked by demonic beings, because we have to talk about the dark, the black. You see the black, but it is a clear sky. You see the yellows there too. So this could be a storm breaking as well. Now, the sky hasn't cleared up. That's the Three of Cups, but there is a little bit of light in all that darkness. And you have that red, which means carnal knowledge that you get by going into the flesh. Meaning you need to be born to redeem yourself. And this can mean a passing. If I see the 10 of Swords and the Death card and the Sun card, it does mean a physical death. Now, I don't like to predict that. I don't want to teach people to predict that, but it is one of my methodologies. And I am a Grand Tarot Master for those who need a teacher. So I'm seeing all this black here, and this is going through different portals. The World card means doors within doors, rooms within rooms, windows within windows, portals within portals. I'm hearing tetragrammaton. I wouldn't be able to say that unless the Temperance card was here as well, but that would also be Man Vud Vipa, the highest of highest spiritual holy worlds. Okay, so when you have that final ending or the spell gets broken and you're still in the flesh, that's riding the devil's back through hell. Hell is really being born underneath this dimension of the sun. So you're in hell until you become Illuminati. Illuminati doesn't mean bad. Yeah, part of the Illuminati does have a dark cabal. Yes, absolutely. Those are those dark sorcerers that we know about with the blood sacrifice and everything. But actually, Illuminati means you're aware of the other side of the sun. You know what goes on the other side of the sun. You're able to transcend. You can come here and believe and come here and leave. That's what the World card or the Temperance card means. You don't come here and get stuck. You've had your redemption. You see those red, it means that you've incarnated and you can come and go and come and go. The purple banner means spiritual knowledge. Just like in the Sun card, the red banner means carnal knowledge, an announcement. Okay. So the Ace of Swords, this is the crown. I was going to clear this deck, this little thought deck. I'm so glad I did it. It's not a thought deck. I apologize. Mi piace. Mi scusi. Okay. So now you're turned within. You're looking to the left here. Okay. And the Queen of Cups, the King of Cups, the Page of Cups, the Knight of Cups, the Ace of Cups, that means chosen. Ace of Cups is the Holy Grail. Page of Cups is a divine messenger that sometimes could be spiritual. Page of Cups is a chosen child. Queen of Cups is just being chosen. King of Cups is God. So the Queen of Cups will be you because you're receiving all the love of God. The Ace of Cups is heaven. So when you're holding onto your own divinity, you have that spiritual platform. This could be the pulpit. Is another word for the Four of Wands. It's also 1111. What is a twin flame? What are the twins? Gemini. So it means divine, earthly, spirit, flesh, twin. Hoho tohosu. Tohosu hoho is very special. Another word for that would be ibeyi or shimare. Okay, but I don't do Orisha here. I'm Radha Mamidan. Okay. So this is not always good. He is shrouded in black, but if you're holding on to your carnal knowledge and you're having all this other divinity, that's good. But that's the truth, clarity. If I'm speaking something in a reading and the Ace of Swords comes out, whatever I just said is the truth. Now, this was already out, so I'll leave it like it is, but boom, daddy, there you go. So I was thinking before that this purple banner is spiritual knowledge, and then this red banner is carnal knowledge. And then we have them both. So when you have the sun, the judgment, the world, il mondo, I can never say the world right away, but they're written on the card, so let me be quiet. And the fool, il manto, that means, oh, this is Ingaring, the in garden, the Garden of Eden. This is the divine place. So the sun, il sole, is Garden of Eden, the promised land. The field of reeds is in Egypt. I don't say Egypt, I say Kush, but it could also be Kemet. I'll take that. Nubia, Upper Egypt. So here we are to the original story, the divine beings, divine feminine, divine masculine. This is the Tower of Babel, but this is also the left eye of Shiva. So God is not creator. There's one source, but there's many gods. There's one goddess. We have the left eye of Shiva and the right eye of Shiva. I'm going to show this to you in the thought so you understand. And funnily enough, these are both of my spirits. And all y'all trying to do these attacks and whatever, I'm going to be quiet. I was told recently to step back and let the tower fall, to let whomever is coming after whomever just get their karma. You see, me, I want to get in there with you and heal. And unfortunately, that's unacceptable at present because there's too many transitions happening on the earth realm. Yep. So just defend to the end what is worthwhile, because that evil eye will always come. But if you're walking in spirit and you're divinely protected, you'll know that God will protect you. And God is a name for generator, operator, destroyer. But when you're down in the physical and you evil, God actually means gold, oil, and drugs, or gold, oil, and death. So do you see those two eyes? So the left eye and the right eye. Okay. don't have my bell out here, so I'm just on my bowl. So I'm just gonna do this whistle. Okay, because a lot of evil comes out in this. I'm gonna have to do her business. Ooh. So when cards fall down, face down, I don't take them, and I only take reversals usually if the card falls out face up. But when a bunch of cards fall face down, I put them on the bottom of the deck. Those are the clarifiers, and then we have the face card here, the gate. A barrier keeps you from your goal. So really, what this is, and let me explain. This is the Madame Mendora's whatever fortune card oracles. A lot of people are blocked even from their own blessings, but also the gate is going to open soon. So the real message is we can't take everybody with us where we're going. We can. We shall not. We won't not. Because our blessings aren't for everybody. And sometimes if we're taking people with us to the promised land, they're really a burden and they're going to block us. And so the lesson here yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm, 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 mm. Let Mama do this work. Just grant me a moment, my dears, my darlings. Ooh, 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 ooh. Mm. Okay, I am a Sekhmet devotee, so I would, if the oracle comes up as me, I do have the spirit as well. Many different names and many different people. A lot of people say, I mean, it's Dazuji, Sapata, Togbefotwala. Frankly, um, Narishmima, any lioness, Sekhmet, Bast, even Hathor a little bit. We have the oracle, and this is over here in the protected space. And then in the exposed space, remember we had that gate. So at the holy gate, the pearly gates, so this can be a death. And remember I said, this person's coming in on a black horse. So don't always trust that. The siren. Oops. See, what falls to the floor comes to the door. When it falls out my hand, because this is a big ass table. Okay, it's hard to get to the floor. But a temptation may lead you astray. Wasn't Mama just saying? Okay. So this being bound, being stuck, oftentimes they need to get you to play with them. So when they get your emotions at a peak, you lower your vibration. This is a low vibrational card, and also this is a card of feeding, feasting. When the spirits come to feed on you, you know, if you spill goat blood, demon, pig blood, demons and 126-mile radius come for you. And see, the clarifier here is conflict and danger lie in wait. They need to get your vibration down so they can feed upon you. Let's clarify this. It's because you're chosen. You're destined to succeed. There's something divine about you, and they don't want to see your blow up, your glow up, your what is your temptations? That's love. So temptations may lead you astray. Remember, love spelled backwards is evil. And you should be in eternal union with Great Spirit. I need to clarify this love because most people hear love and they get excited. You should be in an eternal union with Great Spirit, and then Spirit could anchor out of physical into a member of the out of the spiritual into a member of the soul group in the physical. Spider, be meticulous and patient, discerning. Spiders are weaving. That's also Mama Chamba, so we would know that as Oshun. And then we do have that gold and that green, and I'm hearing the word basil. I was also noticing in that sun card earlier that it was not just red, it was also orange. So oranges, those are all markers of Oshun, Mama Chamba. Sekendi is the orange Chamba. I don't know the green. Green is Bublume, because you see that black and green, that's the queen, the empress. I'm getting empress energy here. So they want that divine love, because that divine love, that's the love ascended beings. That's all they need to do, take over your heart, and then they have a chariot into the divine realm. And that's not going to be good because you'll both get struck down. This gate. Tell us about this gate. You did not give me a bunch of cards, did you? You better not. Follow your intuition. So if you're following your intuition, that's your spiritual intelligence. Physical intelligence is instinct. Spiritual intelligence is intuition. So if you're not following your intuition, that is blockages. See, if you get mired down in caca with these people, places, things, these demons, these mechanisms of the devils, these agents of the matrix, and to me, I saw a weapon here. You see this? The 13 of Fucus. Oh, there's the zodiac. Oh, yeah. Is the Fucus here? No, so maybe it's 12 because she's covering a few of them. And I really like the number 13. That scares a bunch of Eastern people. The stars are here in the background. She's dripping in beauty. Oh, honey. Ooh, girl, work it out. She's got this red hair there, so that means that she's spirit-filled. She's wearing the purple. Ooh, her amulet. Her amulet is divine. Okay, honey, you work that thing. What I'm sensing here, and then for me, I'm really getting a lot of Xenia warrior princess here. Okay, you see the little sharp thing at the top of this. So has the cosmos. She's chosen the seer and the oracle. Follow your intuition because a barrier keeps you from your goal. So if you block your intuition, allow your intuition to be blocked, allow yourself to be blocked. Don't follow your guides, don't follow your ancestors, don't follow your ascended masters, don't follow your Lord, your invisible master. What happens is all of a sudden you're led astray, period. And we do have that here, this island. A temptation may lead you astray. Yeah, I have somebody in my life that's been around for 6 years, and I knew I've been ignoring my intuition for a very long time. Ooh, ooh, child, ooh. Okay, the king. Right, because we're divine beings. We're chosen. We do have some ties back to a more divine time on earth. And we do need to go back to the heavenly kingdom. And in order to do that, we need to seek wisdom and guidance from the elders. This is the card for the female elder, especially the chief of the coven or a spiritual order, and Will being the captain general, capo generale, which is just the regular 4-star general. So this is a 2-star general here. And it's saying, and typically it's the elder. The hermit is the masculine elder, the strength is the female elder. We have here authority and diplomacy. Seek wisdom and guidance from the elders. These are the Chakra Wisdom Oracles by Tori Hartman. I don't know. I can check. Somebody put in the comments if you really want to know, or just look up the Wild Tarot, because I don't want to get up, but I will if you ask. And then the Madame Endora's Oracle Colonizer deck is by, excuse me, I said that out loud, pardon me. It's distributed by U.S. Game Systems, and it's by Pamela Coleman Smith and Arthur Edward Waite. Again, distributed by U.S. Game Systems. Hi, Queen of Wands. Okay, wow. Hi, Giggle Glimmer. Hi, Lucy. Okay, so let's see here. Let's wrap this up. Every time I get off the channel, I want to go make a sandwich, but I think I'm fasting. I'm not sure. I'm starting to feel the light fill me. So maybe I'll just, yeah, I know what to do. Ooh, child. Ooh, child. Ooh, I could, ooh, 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 ooh. I could not make that up. Material things, material things. First of all, work on something that you want. The blue is not negative. So what I'm detecting with all these cards is that people try to bind you because they see that you have something great. And it's jealousy. They try to bring conflict in to bind you, distract you because you're destined to succeed. And you have some great works. You're here upon the earth with a God duty, God obligation, God responsibility. So you're here to do divine works. And it comes through the mind. So they want to block your mind and put you into despondence, despair. Now, this is when a person leaves their throne, leaves their healthy space, safe energy. They have the whole world there, everything. But they're looking outside of themselves, not inside themselves. So you know what's a lie. If it is the truth, it is so real. You see, the truth is the truth. Either it is or it isn't. And see, substance, it needs no proof. Either it is or it isn't. And you know the truth by the way you feel. It is what it is. And see, they have to get you stuck on stupid, looking up outside yourself, looking up over outside at something else, not inside. So what we have here, so they're going to tempt you with love, the evil machinations. And it could be lust. It could be lust for money. It's really not the group that we're talking to today, because that's usually what men have, that issue. And I don't mean to gender nobody, but I am a professional. Okay. Y'all make whatever adjustments you need to. So Destiny is talking about the path you walk and then dying, frankly. It's the transition into the next realm. Destiny. So look, black, white. Not everybody is going to be chosen. Not everybody is going where we're going. So follow your intuition, because a barrier blocks you. You're not going to get this upgrade if you make the wrong choices. Faith. 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 I love that word too. I used to have such an issue with that word, faith. Let's talk about it. You know, in the absence of all evidence, therein lies faith, but evidence is faith-based and faith is evidence-based. So we either put our faith in science books, religious books, textbooks, or we put our faith in the divine. If you truly follow the divine, worship the divine, if you truly are divine, you'll be led, spirit-filled, spirit-led. So that's an evolution of faith. And it takes putting down the science books, the history books, the religious books, the mother, the daddy, the teacher, the preacher, and getting inside. Now, oftentimes our insides are reflected outside, but our vibe attracts our tribe. If we're running around chasing after things, we miss the space. We won't hold any space, no time. We make no room for the things that are for us to catch up to us because we're spending all this time, energy, and attention running after, chasing after what we think is for us. And a true king does not beg, does not chase. A true queen never complains, never explains. So the spirits walk amongst us, and we are the intercessors between the divine and the mundane. But you see, if we don't honor our true divine purpose, if we don't follow our intuition, we will be blocked. We will be struck down. We will be cursed. 10 of Wands is the curse. 10 of Swords is the breaking of the curse or breaking of the spell. So you know the truth by the way it feels. Okay, so faith. Faith. Seek wisdom and guidance from the elders, authority and diplomacy. Let's scry a little bit more on this. Well, this is not scrying. I'm just going to pull another card, girl. Yeah, you will be guided through darkness. Faith. Oof. 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 Oh, honey, I'm going through that right now. I feel like I'm Moses walking across, truly, genuinely, because, ooh, child, I'm alone at the moment. Not really. I got plenty of support, but yeah. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, I had to let that out. So, faith, we will be guided through darkness. Seek wisdom and guidance from the elders, authority, and diplomacy. Truly, genuinely, sincerely, authentically, yes, 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 yes. Because strength, courage, and wisdom, fortitude, temperance, self-governance, self-autonomy, self-mastery, fearlessness. If you have faith in God, you will not fall. You will not fall. I'm so glad this did not turn out really gross because, you know, I'm wanting to be love and light and laughter and logic and purity and humility, serenity, dignity, and grace. I don't want all this Ratchet Reed and Jerry Springer Black Girl popping up at the mouth, toxicity. And the world is going to be what the world is. So why do I have to be anything other than pure and divine and chosen? You know, there's lots of things to grab our attention, but if we're focusing on the bad in the world, we're missing the good. And if we're focusing on the bad and letting it drag us down, we're letting it, you know, we're letting dark clouds into the sky. You know, a storm will pass. But if you're sitting there looking at all the rain, looking at all the wet pavement, looking at all the wet dirt, the wet cement, it's just gray, dull. It's a distraction. And that's what I think conflict is the purpose of conflict. It's designed to distract, to delineate, to separate from divinity. And we have this with the elders here. So let's take a look at this. So I said earlier that I was a well, yeah, I'm gonna call it devotee. My tantric practice is Sekhmet. My Brahmanical practice is Ptah. So you're in good hands. We'll make better choices together and we'll lead together. I will be more upfront and out loud with my intentions, with my plans, with where I'm taking us, where I'm heading. And I'm not the leader that you cannot question. Just be respectful. That's all. If you need to question, if you are uncertain, and don't argue with me either. When you want to argue or pop up with an mouth, just ask it in the form of a question. You can say, "How do I tell you to go fuck yourself?" You see, there was a question there instead of the alternative. All right. I need to say that for those in the know. Okay. I love you. I honor you. I praise you. I thank you. Ho'onoponopono. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. If anything that was said resonates deeply with you, there's some resources in the show notes. I said I would announce the flash sale. I will do that. Okay. Remember to comment, like, share, subscribe, share with your mama, share with your friends, even if they're in other realms. Please take good care. Bye bye.